Okay, so I talk about disability and I talk about the numbers, but what is this number all about? Where are they? Who are they? So, as per the stats from, like I said, the census 2011, we have about 2.68 crore, and back on that population, it was about 2.21%. We have about 1.5 crore male and 1.18 crore female mix in that. And if you look at where they are, that's what led to another important question as to why we have a scenario like this. Why is it 69% in rural and 31% in urban? And that is purely because of lack of accessibility. Because many a times, even if they are able to find a job in an urban setting, the deterrent is accessibility. It's from transport, it's from workplace. I'm talking about infrastructure, I'm talking about social, digital, everything. But of course, this is a scenario we're talking about back in 2011, but things have slowly changed, and I am very, very what the current number is right now when the census comes out. But yes, a lot of work needs to be done apart from us becoming more attitudinally, I would say, accommodative. It's about working on the other aspects as well. And then the types of disability in terms of the mix for the 2.68 crore. So in movement, that is persons with mobility disability, we had about 20%, persons with visual impairment, 19, again, hearing impairment, 19, speech impairment, 7, and multiple disabilities. For example, when I say multiple disabilities, I'm talking about deaf blindness, like where there are multiple disabilities a person deals with it at the same time. So this was the kind of mix we had. And back in 2011, we had only 7 disabilities that were recognized, as many of you would know. But after the 2016 RPWD Act that was passed, this number moved to 21, and that's exactly what you're seeing here. These are the 21 disabilities that's recognized by the government of India right now. And the brilliant part about it is it has sensory disabilities, non-sensory disabilities, visible disabilities, invisible disabilities, everything that comes here. For example, for people who would like to know what a sensory or a non-sensory is, for example, sensory is the one which affects your sense of vision, sense of hearing, sense of taste, sense of touch. So these are the aspects which, when they get impaired, you will have them categorized under that. And for example, if you want to look at non-sensory, for example, you can take the example of thalassemia or hemophilia, which are blood disorders. And another conundrum in that is, or I would say the the intersection in that is that they are also invisible disability, which means when you meet a person, coming from that particular category, it's not visible. And visible disabilities are, for example, we can talk about locomotor disabilities where a person could be, maybe on a wheelchair, or a person could have mild mobility disability, things like that. So that's how they have completely broken it down. And in fact, very interestingly, in mental illness, they've also added depression as one of the categories which can also be categorized as disability. That's because it can also sometimes deter, I would say, basic functions where the person could have extreme mood disorders, or the person might not be in the right cognitive state sometimes. So that also comes under that. But when I say RPWD Act, Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act, what exactly is it? So basically, it's I would say it's a brilliant legislation which now strengthens the entitlement or the rights, and most importantly, how we can create a barrier-free, inclusive workplace for persons with disabilities. So the government has come up with this legislation which kind of gives that direction and the guidelines for organization. Because many organizations are willing to do it, leaders are willing to do it, but many times they don't know where to start, and this legislation kind of provides that, I would say, torchlight for them. But under that, of course, rights of persons with disabilities is a very, I would say, descriptive and I would say it's an ocean. But we have identified 4 rights and entitlements that's important for leaders and businesses, and also for job seekers who come into this ecosystem. I'll deep dive into that in the next slide. So it's equal opportunities policy, it's non-discrimination policy, it's accessibility policy, and it's a right to employment, which is a very important law under that. But another important, or I would say something that we realized is RPWD Act only mandates government establishments to create 4% reservation. But for private sector, they have not pegged I would say, a reservation or a guideline number yet. But it is encouraging organizations to start hiring and see how that can become a benchmark later, or it could become an industry standard. But again, it depends on the structure of the organization, nature of the industry, and so on and so forth.